Welcome! I'm Kelley, and in this video, I'll be making this rustic love sign. I'll be using this wooden love sign from Dollar Tree. It's like a particle board, like the type of board that is used to make most clipboards. And also I'll be using this board sign left over from Thanksgiving that I did not use. I've taken the sticker off the back, and I'm going to go ahead and paint the back. Now I've removed the banner from the front that said Harvest Blessings, and I'll use that banner for other things as a template wherever I'm using a banner or ribbon type look in one of my projects. So I've applied tacky glue to the front and I'm sticking it to this foam board. Now even though I've already painted the back, I'm going to still paint over it to show the technique that I used later in the video. I'm going to take a tiny screwdriver, and it's a Phillips head type, and I'm going to remove the hardware from the back of this love sign. I'll be applying a thick layer of this Crackle Medium by Faux Art on this love word sign. I admit I don't have a lot of experience using Crackle Medium in my projects. What I have learned recently is that the thicker you apply it, the larger the cracks will be. I'm also doing a different experiment, and that is I'm putting this Crackle Medium fairly thick right over the sign without even doing a base coat of paint. I like the color of this sign, and that's why I didn't want to paint over it, but we'll see how well it works. Now I'm taking these mirrored arrows, and they're wall decals that I got at Dollar Tree. They come 3 in a pack, but I'm using 2 of them. And here I'm stippling silver craft paint over the mirrors. I'm going to give it a galvanized metal look. After the silver dries a little bit, I'm using the black, and it's just black chalk paint, and I'm just stippling it on here as well to give it more dimension. And then I'm just going to highlight it with a little bit of the white chalk paint. This technique is so easy to apply over any silvery or stainless steel surface that you want to give it a galvanized metal look. Even though I had painted this beforehand, it was more for experimental reasons. So I'm going to go ahead and show how I did this paint job. I'm just going to paint a little bit over it using the same technique as before. And you can apply as many layers as you want. It really depends on your personal preference. I just wanted to be sure that the board sign was covered enough. I used an X-Acto utility knife to trim down the foam board. And to smooth out any jagged edges, I just used a simple nail file. Where some light sanding is required, I like to use these nail files. They work really well, and you can get them in a pack at Dollar Tree, and they last a while too. I'm using some white Waverly chalk paint and a sponge brush to help conceal the marks that were left from the clamps. I like to use an awl whenever I need to poke a hole through foam board. To show how I did this paint job, I stored this paint in the Dixie cup inside this plastic mason jar that you can get from Dollar Tree. And it kept the paint for a couple of days, actually. Now, I did put some slow dry medium into the paint, and it's just a blend of some brown paint and some white chalk paint. And I didn't blend it completely well, and I did that on purpose. I'm using a hairbrush from Dollar Tree to give it a more distressed look. And I just layered the paint on there. Like I said, I didn't blend it, and I did that intentionally. And I went back and added a few layers at a time. I'm taking some 5mm jute twine and going around the edges, and I'm going to do this twice. I'm pressing it down in the corners as I go with this nail file, just because I happen to be nearby. Now, I started out with the scrap jute twine because I didn't want it to go to waste. But what I like to do when I join on the ends is I kind of cut it a little bit at an angle and make sure that some glue gets in the fibers, and I press it down so that it's flat. And I do that with the joining ends as well. And I try to do them at a corner or somewhere where it's more concealed so that you can't see the beginning and end of the strings that I joined together. I'm taking some Scotch tape and putting it around the end of this piece of twine, and I'm poking it through, and I'm going to tie it in a knot in the front, and this will make my picture hanger. I'm only laying this love word sign on the plaque for the moment just to see where I want the arrows to be. Even though the arrows have some adhesive already on the back and that they're made to stick on a wall, I'm going to be applying a little bit of E6000 just to ensure that it stays over the long term. Once I knew where I wanted the arrows, I went ahead and pressed it down. I just used a little bit of E6000 because if it wasn't exactly where I wanted it and I had to shift it, I didn't want glue to end up on the front of this board. Now it's my intention just to apply this one coat of paint. The crackle medium has completely dried. I find myself going back and trying to apply more where there's open areas. I don't know if that's going to affect the overall look at this point. However it turns out, I'm determined to go with it no matter what. I ended up liking the look overall, but I do want to experiment more off camera with this crackle medium in other projects. As I'm painting the sides of this word, I'm noticing that it's already starting to crackle on top. It happens rather quickly. So here's how it turned out. I'm not too disappointed with it. I'm going to just take a nail file and distress the edges a little bit. It still has an aged and weathered look, which is what I wanted. I'm applying E6000 and I'm trying to stay away from the edges because I may have to shift the sign a little bit to get it straight. But I don't want the glue to be on the front of the board. Now I'm going to put some hot glue on the L and the E, just a little bit to hold this short term. I didn't want to go all the way across a word like this because it would probably dry by the time I got across. Once I knew I had it where I wanted it, I went ahead and pressed it down so that the hot glue would stick. Then I put 2 heavy jars on here and I left it for several hours. I like the way this turned out, and it's neutral enough to leave up all year round. What do you think? Leave me a comment below. Once again, I am SD Kelley, and I hope that you enjoyed this video and give it a big thumbs up if you did. Also, I hope you will subscribe to my channel because I have many more great ideas to share with you. If you're interested in following me on social media or contacting me, I'll put those links in the description below. I thank you for watching, and bye for now.